Hey, what's up, guys? It's Big Mike here. Wanted to give you guys kind of the top hints that I've got from playing a few days worth of Atlas. I played in Freeport a lot. I left the island, the starter island, and found that um, there's a lot of questions that remain. I ended up dying and coming back to Freeport just to kind of goof around a little bit. Really wanted to make this video to help out a lot of people because if you play Atlas for about 10 minutes, you'll see in chat there's a persistent number of questions. They really don't tell you a whole lot. It's part of a survival game, but my goal was to kind of give you guys some of the basics to try and help you from being too irritated and too frustrated. So with that said, I've got several things on me right now, but I am in Freeport. When you spawn into the game, you spawn in Freeport, and you should be in the city, and it kind of starts right here. If you don't spawn into the Freeport zone, then you probably need to try and respawn multiple times and see if you can get into the Freeport. There's been multiple issues with people running into spawning into the ocean, etc. But anyway, kind of one of the first things is, obviously spawn into Freeport. You'll know because you'll be in the city and you'll kind of see the buildings around you. First thing you want to do, nobody else is probably going to do this, but the first thing you want to do is you want to run down the dock here toward the ocean and run to the end of the dock. There's a guy here that tells you what you need to get a raft. That is your first major milestone, is to get a raft. So you click on him, he's got one item over here and it's a raft. And so that's what you need to do to get off this island. And if you right click on it and you say craft, if you have the resources, it's kind of white. You'll need a lot of wood, I think thatch and skins to craft one of these guys. I want to say it's around like 100 wood, 50 thatch, and 50 skins or something like that. But the key is to gather a bunch of resources to get your raft, because that's your first major milestone. After you kind of look at that, I've already crafted one, so it doesn't tell me what resources I need. So you want to get that. I pretty much pick up everything too. I don't know if you guys just saw, I picked up somebody else's stone they dropped. So that said, you run outside right here, kind of in the middle. You spawn there. Let's run right out here. And when you're running out, you can hit the shift key to sprint. First thing a lot of people miss is you stop right here at the bottom of the steps. It says water, and it points you to the right. Everybody in this game, first question is, how do I get water? How do I get water? If you look at that totem, the big skull with the kind of king looking dude, looks mad right there. Right in front of that is a pond, a freshwater pond. That's where you want to go for fresh water. So let's just go straight there. First thing, when you're running, don't hold the shift key and hold the E key down. If you hold E down, you collect stuff as you're walking along. If you hit shift, it obviously sprints and you don't collect anything. But I prefer to kind of like run along and picking up these stones and random stuff, because you're going to need all these resources. You're going to get all this stuff from all these various things you're running through. When we get up here, look at there's the freshwater pond. You go straight into it, anywhere in here, and hit E, and you're drinking fresh water. To my knowledge, there may be other fresh water on the island, but this is the first place. It's kind of the first thing you need to figure out how to get to this, and this is the key thing for your gameplay. If you don't have this, you basically have to do what's called a little mini game, and you got to go to a green area. So we're going to try it right here. Let's see. You have to go prone, which is X, and you have to punch at the ground. And after you punch at the ground, it'll start a mini game, and you got to click on a bold area. So let's try it. So I missed. So I don't know if you saw that. I punched and I missed. Try it again. Punch. All right, I hit it in the green. I hit it in the bold area. Hit it again, and a third time, and then the water bubbles up in front of you. And hit E, and you'll drink the water. You just kind of hit E multiple times. I obviously don't have any water that I need, so it's not going to drink it. But that's kind of the way you got to do it. You have to do that if you're not by this area, which is where the fresh water is. It's kind of a pain in the butt, honestly. I would not do that. That's not a easy way to get water. because if you're also on the beach and stuff, you're not going to find fresh water. You got to get to a greeny area, and not all green areas have water. So it'll do that for a little while. Let's see if I can drink it now. Yeah, so now I can drink it. It'll probably disappear after a second. But your best thing is find the fresh water. That's the first thing you need to do. The next tip that is really kind of one of the most, to me, is probably one that I missed for a large part of the first part of the game, is when you first start, you don't have any tools. You have nothing. So you want to run really close to this freshwater zone. There's these odd looking trees. It's just two part trees. All these little guys right here, if you just walk up to them and you hold the E button, you'll collect thatch and wood from these. Most everybody else remembers from the legacy game, the Ark. They run up to trees and they start punching. You cause yourself damage, and it takes absolutely forever to gather wood. You see, I'm getting a ton of wood and a ton of thatch off these little trees right by the water. So run to the water, and then immediately come over and grab a bunch of the wood off of these little trees. They're everywhere, and they respawn really quickly. That's probably one of the quickest tips to help you kind of move along in the game really quickly. So, I held E as I was running from the starter zone, which is there. You can always tell the starter zone. It's got the big waterfall coming out of the large alien-looking thing. So at this area too, you click on these little fern-looking bushes and you get fiber. I didn't get any on that one. Let me go to this one. Hold E. You don't have to multiple click. You just hold E and you'll keep collecting stuff, whatever's in the vicinity. So the fiber comes off the little fern plants. Later on in the game, when you leave this island, fiber comes up as ute and other things. So, but the ferns always give you fiber. So that's one thing to note. And then, still we're around this water area. These dudes, these little plant-looking things, I think give us beans. So you can eat beans. So that said, we've covered a lot of things real quick. Find water. Get some wood and thatch from the easy trees without I haven't made a single weapon yet. Once you kind of get the gist of that, you kind of want to run closer to the beach, because the next thing we're gonna need to get is stone. So let's run over to the beach and pick up some stone. And again, I'm holding the E button as I'm running along. You may have picked up some stone running from the starting zone. See, I just grabbed one. There's one. When you get out of the trees and stuff, there's some stone on the ground right here. See them right beside me? I'm going to pick up all the fiber, and then I'll end up picking up the stone probably. It's kind of a pain, but there you go. So if you're on the beach in an open area like this, look at there. There's a stone. If you click E on that, picked up one stone. So you pick up the stones, and then you hit the I button. As you level, you'll go into, I can't remember if you get the stone pick at beginning or not, but as you level, you click to allocate one of these guys. So let's say you've leveled one time by gathering a few things. I level in PvE, weight is critical. That's the first thing. PvE, you're not going to be, especially on the starter island, first 8 levels, you're capped at level 8 in the starter zone in Freeport. So I level the weight a good bit. I did a health and I did intelligence a couple times. I think I did stamina. But weight is the first 3 or 4 points you want to spend. Once you do that, then you go to a skill tab, which is this. And obviously yours is going to have nothing. The right-hand side is going to be completely empty. And the left-hand side is going to have, I think it's just going to be on survivalism, which is this first tab. And this one, the basics and the tools of the trade are the 2 options you're going to have. You're going to want to click the basics first. And there it is. So when you click that, after harvesting a few things, your experience goes up really slow. You want to click that one because that's going to give you all the core basics: the hatchet, stone pick, torch, campfire, your basic clothing, and the bed. That is absolutely critical for starting the game. But so let's say you've collected a few resources. You collected all the stone, the wood, and the thatch and fiber, which is what you can do with no weapon at all. Everybody's like, how do you do these things? They're punching trees, trying to get experience. Just run straight to the water and run around the water, and you can get fiber, wood, thatch, and food. all that stuff real easy. And like I said, the beans and there's apples. They're called acerolas. Various things you can eat all around the water. So just run straight to the water. That'll get you a huge jump in the game. Click the basics as your first skill point to spend. I think you can spend 2 in your first level. Click the spear as your second one. You want to do those 2 things. That's the absolute bare minimum on the starter island. And then create a stone hatchet and a stone pick, excuse me. Those things are very low level. Let's click it and see. Double click it. Wait a minute here. Let me see if I can. When I hit I, after you do that, you kind of go back into inventory. So there's your skills. You go back to inventory, and then you've got your crafting options down here at the bottom. What I like to do is if I have something I want to craft, and you won't have to do this necessarily for the stone pick and the axe, but I like to take them. Let's see here, hatchet, and drag it down to my bar, and I'll drop it on the bar, and that way when I'm running along, I can hit and hold 8, which is where I just copied that guy to, and it tells me what I need. And if it's red, then you'll need those items. So I've got a ton of items. I wanted to have a lot of extra materials so I could show you guys how to do all this. But it tells you need 15 fiber. I've got 326. It tells you you'll need 3 flint. You'll need 1 stone and 3 wood. Obviously, the first thing you're going to craft is your pickaxe. And let's see if I can find that real quickly. For some reason, it's not real. It's called, that's the hatchet. That's what I just had. Pickaxe, a stone pick, excuse me. Stone pick, playing too many other games. So stone pick, and I'll hold the 8. That's the first thing you're going to craft. And as you can see, if we run to the water, you'll collect 2 fiber, 6 stone, and 6 wood. And you can make the stone pick. Once you make that, you hit I, and let me show you. When you first make it, it's going to actually be in your inventory, just like this guy. Click it and drag it down to whichever slot you want it in. I always put axe in number 1, stone pick in number 2, or pickaxe in number 2, and my spears in number 3. So click and drag it down there, and now you've got the core thing you need in the game, which is a pickaxe. You got water, you got fiber, wood, thatch, a little bit of food, and then you can go, oh, that's not going to be collectible resource. Let's go back over by the water. Here's the acerola. So if you remove your pickaxe by hitting the button 2, because I've got it hotkeyed on 2, it removes it, and then I can pick up the acerola. So that's your basic tool, and obviously you want to start picking up all these fruits and stuff, and these right here, I think this is acai, wild rice. There's all the food you need here, all the vegetables, turmeric, all those different things. So you collect some of that. That is your core food. So the next tip here is when you get into the game, you probably didn't recognize it. On the right hand side, it's kind of hard to see here. Let's see if I can get it in a better view here. Bottom right hand side, kind of middle area, there's a yellowish, purplish, orange, and bluish little bars on the middle right kind of area. And what that is a lot of people have been calling them vitamins and your nutrition. The far right one I think is vitamin D, which is probably the number 1 thing that people ask in the game. How do I get vitamin D? It's from fish. The first one is going to be yellow, and you get that from, I think this is beans. Wild rice gives it to you, turmeric. So, everybody says, how do I get each of these? It's pretty obvious if you spend a second or two to looking at this. The orange, which is the apple-ish looking things, that's your fruit. Orange gives you the orange experience, nutrition level. Yellow or greenish color here gives you the very first bar. Purple is meat, which is, this is uncooked meat. I just killed something just to kind of have something to show you. We'll want to cook it. You can eat this raw. It gives you a little bit, but if you're low health or you're suffering from something, you don't want to eat raw meat. And then the last one, which I don't have any of, is fish. And I want to tell you early on, I honestly don't worry about fish. I try to get my raft as quickly as possible. Get a raft, a storage unit, and a bed. And then it doesn't matter. You can kind of level a good bit on Freeport. Even at level 8, you can still continue to collect resources and get stuff and kind of figure out the game. So that's kind of the bare necessities. The next area I want to work on is so let's run over to just one of the rocks, and you want to harvest some flint and stone. After you get some flint and stone, and then you run around to these trees that I showed you, these guys right here that continuously respawn. You never really have to use an axe, honestly. On Freeport, save your resources because repairing the axe and the other tools it gets to be kind of a pain. So just collect the crap out of these resources here, and don't use your tools. You get more. Obviously, you get a higher level of yield when using your axe and your pickaxe. But you know what? When you're learning the game, you just kind of want to figure things out, and you don't want to expend too much while doing so. So once you get those, you click I. You go in and you can search in this crafting area. You can type axe, and it doesn't show anything. Let's see. Pickaxe is that one, and then hatchet. Hatchet is the other item, and so you double click hatchet and you make hatchet. And then the next thing you need a hatchet, a pickaxe, and then you need spears. And spears require several resources, so I'm gonna drag that down to my hotbar because it's not easy to tell what I need. And you hit and hold 8. Every single spear requires 14 fiber, 3 flint, and 12 wood. I'm going to be honest with you. I try to carry 3 at a bare minimum. If you carry less than 3, you're pretty much, you get in a battle, 1 or 2 spears will go really quickly. That's one of the faults in the game early on. Spears don't last. So I would suggest having 4 to 6 spears, especially if you're going to go around hunting for skins and meat. You need to have at least 6. So kind of the first goal, obviously, like I said, is to get your raft. So we're going to collect a few more resources here, and I'm going to start back when I've got enough to build another raft for you guys, so you can kind of see what is required. Before I do that, let me show you. Got my hotbar for my spear there. Let me run over and find something to attack. One of the things that you're going to run into on the island, the Freeport Island, is you are going to find alpha. Let's see. So the birds a lot of times will land and they'll jet real quick. They're kind of hard to get to stay in place. Over here's a cow. Here's what I wanted to tell you about all the animals. Unfortunately, on the starter island, I don't know if you can see that. It says female alpha cow. There's a little bit of flames coming off his back or off her back. Do not attack those. You're gonna die. They've got alpha chickens, alpha monkeys, alpha cows, alpha bulls. I think there's maybe an alpha parrot, a few other things. So definitely don't attack those guys. Those are not gonna help you at all. Keep looking for things that you can attack easily, like I think actually that may be an alpha monkey. Yeah, see, you got to be careful with the monkeys. So that's a 200 alpha monkey. They will actually hit you and stun you for a second. So don't hang around the alphas too much. I think they kind of sense and attack you if you stay around them too much. This looks like a pig here. Let's see. And nope, unfortunately, no. Yeah, he's an alpha, 215. Female alpha pig. So it's kind of a bummer that they did this on the starter zone. I think what it is they started with 1 or 2, but it ended up being more. So here's a turtle. Sorry, dude, I'm going to take your turtle. I'm going to attack this turtle and save your life. So I'm going to pull it over here. And, all right, so we attacked the turtle. And I'm just going to let them have it because it was attacking them. So anyway, you use your spear and you attack the, I don't know if you could tell. Typically when you're attacking stuff, it kind of auto locks. There's a battle mechanism that auto locks battle onto whatever you're fighting. If you hit the Alt key to the left of the spacebar, it'll turn that off for a second. But here's a monkey. He's level 17. So I've got 3 spears and I'm going to attack the monkey. 1, 2, 3, and I got him. Now I'm a level 10, so let's go ahead and get this chicken too. Level 3, 1, 2. All right, so I attacked him. Now, a lot of times I found I have to double tap my keyboard when in battle to go to my axe. You want to use your axe to get some skins and meat, and that's also meat. And in Ark, I believe the hatchet would give you more meat, and the axe would give you more skins. I don't remember for sure, but again, I haven't been able to figure out an exact mechanism which gives you more. But anyway, I'm gonna get a few more. Oh, that's not the guy I wanted to attack. That was a bad idea. So he's gonna attack me and probably kill me now. Get you guys an idea of how bad of an idea that was. Now that we're back and the pig did not kill me, we're gonna get some water. And we're going to go back to the starter zone and do the raft. At least see if I can make the raft. I can't remember all the materials that I needed. I know there's 3 core materials. Let's see if I can get some more skin from this chicken, level 1. Skins being one of the core resources. So let's see here. I think if I run back, I can put it in my hotbar and tell you guys. What's kind of comical is I've already made my ship. I don't know if you can see it in the top right there, the USS Games. That's the Big Mike Games raft over there out in the water. So let's go back to base here. Everybody, probably the third most asked question is, how do I make a raft? What resources are required? Run to the end of the dock, talk to the guy, and he will tell you. If you hover over the I've already got one, so it's not as easy for me. Once you make your ship's going to show up right here with all these other guys. It's going to be green for yours, and it's going to ask you to name it. So name your raft. I say ship, it's a raft, and your raft is going to be like this guy right here. Well, these ones that have nothing on them. Let me go out here to one of them. This one right here. This is what your raft's going to look like. It's going to have nothing on it. And so that's awesome. You've got a raft. Now the cool thing you need to do, probably pretty quickly, is go back out and harvest up enough wood and other items to make you a storage box. Now you have to do that under skills. This goes back to when I was telling you to use, pick these 2 things. What a lot of people don't realize in your skills, you end up opening up other categories as you level up. So I did these 2. I think I did the water keeper, which is pretty handy for me. So I don't have to go searching for fresh water all the time. And then construction, I did like multiple here. And then I was like, wow, I need to build some buildings, some foundations and stuff like that. I had no idea these other areas opened up. Construction. If you click on this just to the right of survivalism is construction and mercantilism. And there's handyman. There's your storage box right there. So click that guy. As soon as you get your raft and you level, click that guy and build yourself a storage box. Once you get your storage box, you can drop it on your raft. These are the large storage boxes, so disregard that. Your beginner storage box is going to look like this guy right here. It's just a small one. Drop that storage box on your raft, and then immediately hold E on it and set pin code. One of the biggest things that kind of stinks about the game right now is you create a storage box. You create a fire pit. These fire pits, check this out. This fire pit's on this guy's raft. I click on it and I can take his stuff out of it. People are constantly yelling and screaming, don't take my food, don't take my meat, don't take my wood out of my fire pit. If you don't lock down the storage bin, you're going to lose everything. So put everything on your raft in your storage bin and pin code it. And here I'm going to pause for a minute and I'm going to run to my ship and then kind of show you the basic mechanics of sailing. Okay guys, we're back. So I ran over here where my ship is, my raft is kind of sitting out in the water. Over there's the start of the Freeport docking area. So it's really tough kind of to get over in this area. You're better to go to the left, to the other side of the island. I really struggled here trying to get when you're learning to sail the raft, it's not real easy. It's a little bit of a kind of a weird mechanic. I ended up being stuck underneath that fountain there, the waterfall, for probably 5 minutes trying to get my raft to maneuver out of that zone. Once I finally got over here, I kind of left it off the beach for a couple reasons. Number one, if I want to be out here working on my raft, and if you swim out to it, usually you can kind of hop onto it from the sides. I want to work on my raft. I want to cook food or something. I want to be able to drop my stuff in here. Hold the shift key, you get 5 if you double click. If you hold the control key and double click, you get 1 at a time. So shift, you get 5, control key, you get 1. So I wanted to put my meat and stuff in here and light it and let it cook and create me some meat without somebody quickly coming out. Even in PvE. In PvP, I'm sure it's even worse, but PvE, people will just like jump on your boat and take all your meat and wood and coal out of your fire pit. Honestly, on the main island, whenever I run around and there's an empty fire pit, I take the coal anyway, because I'm pretty sure, like in the old art game, coal is going to be very handy when it comes to creating gunpowder later in the game. And gunpowder is a pirate game. Gunpowder is going to be huge. So real quick, when you create your storage, so I kind of made a goofy looking bed, turned it sideways here. Create your storage bin, number one, right? Create your raft, then create your storage bin, which I've got a big one because I've been playing the game for several days. Put your storage bin down, hold the E key and set pin code. Set that to whatever you want to set it to. Mine's pin coded already. I'm not going to let you guys see that. So it's pin coded. I got my stuff in there. It's safe. Your fire pit's never safe. Click on it. As stuff cooks, take it out and move it to your storage bin where it is safe. Okay? Food will rot. All the food will disintegrate over time. So all the vegetables and stuff will deteriorate and go away one at a time. And they're on timers. See, toggle tool tips. So mine's off. Every once in a while that happens. Click it so it's kind of bright white. And then when you hover over it, it will now tell you this wild beans, one's going to spoil in 1 minute and 24 seconds. So every minute, I think it's 10-minute timer usually is the default. This one's going to spoil in 2 minutes and 15 seconds. This is spoiled meat. Once it spoils, it's got a timer that it will ultimately spoil in. So that's kind of quick and dirty, how to get to the raft and get your storage. So I'm going to drop all this stuff in my storage bin, and then we're going to work on moving the ship out, just the raft out, to kind of give you an idea of what that looks like. One of the quick tips too is if you hit T, it transfers stuff from if I'm on the left side and I hit T, it transfers it to the right. If you hit O, it will drop the item out, and it's out here now. I hit O, it's setting out on the ground. So T transfers from one side to the other. So if I'm hovering over here, I hit T, it moves it to the left side. If I hit T on this side, it moves it to the right side. If I hit O, it drops it out. If I hold Control while doing any of these things and double click, it will move one item. And if I hold Shift, it will move 5 items. So, or you can click and drag, whatever you prefer to do. Moving all those things over that kind of help you work on your inventory mechanics. So the next thing here, a lot of people, the vitamin D, I wouldn't worry about that too much. A lot of people gripe and complain about, hey, I need to get my vitamin D. Honestly, once you get a raft with a bed and a storage unit, if you run low on vitamin D, run to your storage unit, put all your equipment in your storage unit and just die. And then when you respawn, just pick to respawn at your bed or on your home server. This is before you leave Freeport. Then you'll spawn right in. You'll either spawn in Freeport or you'll spawn on your bed, and then your health will be kind of back at the medium level, and you won't have to worry about fishing. In order to fish, you have to make a fishing rod a chair, and have sap. And I'll show you how to get sap here in a few minutes. But those things are needed in order to fish, unless you want to swim out there and try to randomly find a fish. It is possible, but it's extremely rare. So here, one of the other tools that's from Legacy Arc, what I call Legacy Arc, if you hit the tilde key just below the escape key on your keyboard, it's a little squiggly character, and you type gamma 3 or 4, let's see, gamma 4, it will make the screen brighter. So the default is gamma 2. So it's nighttime now in the game, so you can't hardly see. It's really dark. You hit the tilde, gamma 4, and it's pretty close to daytime. You can go higher, gamma 5, makes it even brighter. Now once it switches, you hear the music and it switches back to daytime, you'll want to go back tilde and gamma 2, because it'll be so bright, it'll be painful to your eyes. So once you got your raft, let's assume you just got your raft, you're over at the dock, you walk up. A lot of people are like, how do I do my raft? How do I do it? You walk up and you hold E when you're looking at the sails, and you can hit rotate. You hold the E the whole time, and you click rotate sails, and then you can pick which direction you want to move your sails. 0 will move you straight forward. 180 will move you backward, but it's going to be really slow. So I'm leaving mine set at 0. So now my sails are set in the right direction. You hold E again. You can fully open all sails. You can open them 10% at a time. And once you open it at 10%, you can then obviously go down by 10%. You fully open, fully close, and then you can open and close by 10% increments. So when you're ready to be off the island, you're done, you're going to leave this area, you want to walk up to it. Over there at the docks, it's easy. You just pretty much set it to 100% and you sail straight out. You will leave Freeport, and it will take a minute or two, maybe 5 minutes, and you'll leave the zone, and you'll actually know because it'll be kind of a mirror-looking wall. And once you leave that area, it'll be red behind you. It looks like a red storm. So just sail out and go find your new island. I'm going to do a part 2 to this at some point, but this is the starter zone, so I'm not going to go into leaving the island just yet. Just wanted to give you the basics on how to do your raft. All right, so now I'm going to kind of cover higher level things that you can do on the starter island, but things that I would probably suggest you do in order to have a good start when you leave the starter island. A lot of people, get the bare minimums and they leave the island. I would suggest you kind of gather some sap, use some extra food. Obviously, get a lot of meat and a lot of hide, skin, leather, all those things count as hide. Get you some extra wood, flint, and stone, and store them in your storage bin. Because if you leave the island, I've gone to 5 different islands after the starter island. One of the islands had no wood, absolutely no wood at all. The next island had no rocks that you could hit. So it had rocks on the ground, but none of these kind of rocks. So you couldn't get any flint, which is a core resource for keeping your tools fixed. The next island ended up going to had very, very, very little fiber, almost no plants. So you really want to get a good base of all that, honestly, in my opinion, kind of level that stuff up. Unless you don't care and you just want to, die and start back over at Freeport, then that's fine too. But get level up a bunch of stuff. Once again, you guys, I don't know if you noticed, there's the kind of the starter city. Behind it is the waterfall, and the totem pole kind of lights up at night to show you where the water is. Here's where I was talking about earlier. If I attack this pig right here, this level 7, I can take him out. But that alpha right over there with the flames on his back would attack me and kill me. We're going to attack the monkey here, level 16. Get some resources. Double tap my axe. It's always a little difficult to tell how to get exactly what you need. So the next things I wanted to show you is sap and metal. Those are 2 things that are very helpful after you leave the island, or even before you leave the island, depending on how what items you level in the skill tree. I'm not going to go any deeper in the skill tree because, like I said, as you level up the beginning areas, the beginning items, you'll want to you'll do your survivalism. You'll pick what you want to do. You know, you get down to archery and stuff like that. Then you'll do construction and mercantilism. You can do hand-to-hand combat. You can level that. You can level bow and archery, medicine, and cooking. Each of those has its own benefits. I'll do another video in the future when I've got a lot more of those opened up for you guys and kind of show you the benefits and differences in each of those skill trees. For what I've done on this video, just wanted to get you the absolute basics. So if you run back over here to the water, which is, like I said, is one of the most important areas, almost every time I run over here is this little node right here. And it's right kind of on the back side of the totem pole. It's the opposite way its mouth is facing. If you hit this guy, it's sap. So this is the thing you need. Oh, my pick broke, but usually I get a lot more out of that than what I just got. I only got 3 or 4. Let's see here. I got 5. If somebody else has obviously hit it a few times, so get your sap and take that with you on your trip off the island. That way you've got something to put on your fishing pole, a fishing rod to fish with. There's several people that have said way up there in those areas over around the mountains and stuff, there's this little red plant. That's great. You can get stuff over there. Oh, look at there, guys. My deficiencies are kicking in, so it's telling me I'm not doing well. Best thing to do whenever that happens is to go back to your ship. Your screen will start to shake and it drives you kind of bonkers. Go back to your ship, drop everything in your storage, and that way you're safe to, if you, oh, I'm coughing. If you die, oh wow, all of them are down at the same time. I'm probably going to black out, I guess. Wow, that's interesting. I've not actually seen that before. So that's what happens if all of your items go deficient at the same time and you try to sprint. So go back to your raft and put all your stuff back up. Once you get your storage bin, you want to kind of keep dumping stuff onto it, and that way, excuse me, that way you're not losing anything if you die. If you die on the island, this is one of the most important things I should have mentioned right on the beginning. If you die on the island, you lose everything that's on your body. If you die on the island and you've got a raft with storage, and anything that's in the storage is safe, but anything that's on your body is gone. So I made that mistake probably 5 times at least, where I lost all the resources I had on my guy. And it's really frustrating. It drives you insane because you harvest 50 skins and that could take you a long time on the starter island. My guy's not doing well at all. Okay guys, I made it back to my raft. This is what I was telling you earlier. Get back to your raft. I don't need all this sugar cane, so I'm going to drop a bunch of that. And I want to save the resources I've been collecting. So I'm hitting T to transfer all that. And then also, don't forget to transfer your tools. I got some extra tools in there, so we're going to drag all my tools in. I got nothing else. So now, one of the things, what I've been doing, is if you're in the game, after you get your raft and your storage unit, you know what? Just jump in the water and let your guy drown. It's not going to hurt anything. Basically, just let your guy drown, and I'm going to show you how you respawn. We'll be back in 1 second after my guy decides to finally choke out and die. Okay, guys, I'm back. As you can see, I died. This is kind of the screen you'll get. I think if you on Freeport, when you first start, you only have this one little blue zone. I've been to other islands, so if you scroll in, you'll kind of see. If I kind of move my cursor around USS Games, when I click on that, it says respawn on home region, or if I click again, it says respawn on Big Mike's raft bed, which is what I name my actual bed. So either one, respawn home region will spawn me in the town. So that's the easiest thing to do. So I didn't change anything else. I scrolled in, clicked on the town, and respawn in home region. So even if you die before you get the bed, as long as you get the storage unit, you're dumping your stuff into it, you'll be safe. So here, as you can tell, I spawned back in town. So that's kind of the beginner stuff. The level 2 stuff that I wanted to show you guys, I'm going to go grab a pickaxe and a few tools, and then I'll show you kind of where we can go to get the metal. Hey guys, we're back. So I went and got some tools. I wanted to show you real quick. One of the other key resources is metal. I showed you sap earlier. Metal is one of the important things to have, I think, honestly, before you leave the starter island, or at least knowing how to spot metal. To the right is water. We're going to run kind of straight back. This is on Freeport, the starting island. We're going to run straight back this way. I'm sure there's other areas. I'm going to sprint so I can get there kind of quickly for you guys. If you run toward the mountainous areas, as we get out there close to those, you're going to find a greenish looking stone, and I'm going to kind of slow down here because we might see some. And it's really, unless you know what you're looking for, it's kind of hard. Once you see it and learn, actually, here's a good one. So this is coal. If you see these kind of roundish stones over close to the mountains, coal is very important too. Like I said, you're going to need coal to create gunpowder later on, and gunpowder is a critical resource in a pirate game. All right, there we go. This is a small one, but it's the same thing. So I'm going to kind of crouch down and try to zoom in. It looks green, a very greenish tone to it. When you hit this guy, actually that one's giving me chalcedony, so that's not what chalcedony, whatever you call it. That's not what I was looking for. I was thinking that was, but here it is. I'm sorry. See, I get confused. So the chalcedony is the light green, which I'm not sure. I don't remember what that one's used for. The dark greenish. See how this guy looks dark green? There's the chalcedony, the dark green. You hit this, you're getting metal. Every single hit with a pickaxe. With a pickaxe. With a hatchet, what do we get? We're getting metal too. The same difference. So, metal is, I think, honestly, going to be very important. Obviously, the coal is going to be very important. Again, the coal is kind of these roundish-looking gray stones, very smooth. Everything's underneath this the tall mountain areas. So, grab you some metal and some coal. And fill up your storage bin with that stuff before you take off. So if you see these other stones, like this one's just going to give me stone and flint. Same thing here, stone and flint on this orangish one. This one's a round one that's going to give me coal. There we go. Alright, so again, see that really kind of greenish, almost a bright green, but not the light green like this, chalcedony. Whatever that's going to be used for. I'm not certain. I remember right now. So either way, collect you up some metal and some coal. I would say I would honestly get 100 of each at a minimum before leaving the island. You can get the charcoal from everybody's fire pits too. I think that'll work just as well. But anyway, so that's kind of guys. That's kind of the top things that I think you should do to learn the game early on. It kind of keeps you, set your sights on, get comfortable with every time you see that waterfall over there, you're running back to the beginner area, the docks and everything. The totem head looking thing is where the fresh water is. The mountains over there is where metal and coal are, obviously, and then each of the other sides are the beaches, and you can run along the beach, get rocks. You can hit the stones with things in the middle of the islands. You don't want to build your own fire pit. Honestly, I would use somebody else's fire pit. It's just not worth it to make a fire pit when there's 100 of everybody else on the game has made fire pits. You've probably seen me run into like 20 of them just trying to run around the island. Don't make a fire pit, until you get to your unless you are just goofing around and learning the game and you want to make one, that's fine. If you do make one, only put a couple pieces of wood and a couple pieces of meat in at a time, so that somebody doesn't run up and steal all your... Oh, that was a mistake. That's the alpha guy again. So we're going to sprint. You don't want to make a bunch so somebody runs up and steals all your stuff. Like I was telling you earlier, they run up, they grab your meat, they grab your wood out of your your bin, out of your fire pit, and it kind of really irritate you and kind of set you back early in the game. So see, there's a fire pit right there. So just don't do it. You know, get your raft made. That's the first major step in the game. Once you do that, you'll be good to go. Thanks, guys. As always, please remember, subscribe, hit the like button, you know, leave me a comment, do all that good stuff. If you're between the ages of 5 and 65, you ought to be able to do all those things for me. Help me out. If get a good response, you know, I may look at doing some giveaways. I may look at doing more of these videos to try and give you guys a good idea of how to play the game and other games. Again, this is Big Mike Games. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and have a good one.